Disney presents. From Frontierland.
With Stetson so white and a pearl-handled gun swinging on his side, Texas John Slaughter made 'em do what they oughter, 'cause if they didn't, they died.
All his life, John Slaughter was a man who seemed to go out of his way to find danger and excitement. So it was probably no accident when he moved to the Arizona Territory that he decided to make his home in the wildest and toughest area in the old Southwest, Cochise County, where Indians and outlaws still prowled the hills and passes, where the only semblance of civilization was a roaring, brawling community called Tombstone. This was the rugged land John Slaughter was determined to tame and make productive, as you will see in this latest tale of our true hero of the West, titled Range War at Tombstone.
Riding for Arizona, punching cattle all the way. Gonna buy some land near a water hole and build me a ranch, and there I'll stay. For I'm a tired cowhand, tired of being on the run, of chasing the ever-setting sun. For I'm a tired cowhand, tired of knowing what's to come, that somewhere someone has a faster gun.
Indians?
Indians don't leave nothing but ashes.
Rustlers?
Maybe.
John, whatever it is, it's trouble.
I know. That's why we're staying here. Let's go.
There's been a lot of smallpox, John. It might be that.
Well, if it wiped out a whole family, who buried the last one?
Somebody seems to have left in a hurry.
Freeze!
All right, if we turn around?
Do it slow.
Put that gun down, boy.
You should have made sure there was nobody around before you tried to steal our things.
We wasn't trying to steal anything, Sonny.
She's a girl, John.
Don't make me kill you, mister.
You're right, he is a girl. Young lady, you point a gun at a man, you better be ready to use it.
I am.
Well, you may be, but the gun isn't. You got to cock it first. How many others in your party?
Pa! Pa! Help!
Young lady, you better pray he doesn't come up waving a gun.
What is it, Viola?
Caught those two going through our wagon.
Well, there's not much to steal in there, young fella. Not much of anything.
Seems to me you people do an awful lot of accusing without finding out if you're right or wrong.
If I'm wrong, I apologize. You've got to admit this is a little out of the way for a couple of drifting cowhands.
We're driving a herd through to Tombstone. This is where we crossed the river. We saw your wagon, thought you might be in trouble.
Mister, we've had nothing but trouble for a long time. Oh, this is my wife, Rachel. My daughter, Viola.
Ma'am, Miss Viola. My name's Slaughter.
Howdy.
This is my friend Ashley Carstairs.
Our herd's about 3 miles back.
Oh, mine's scattered all over. I got 'em as far as the river, but they just wouldn't cross.
The three of you driving a full herd?
Just 50 head. I had 2 men, but they got sick.
Drunk.
What difference does it make? They left.
Took our saddle horses with them.
Well, where are you headed?
Arizona.
You've been in Arizona for 2 days.
My husband bought a ranch just 20 miles west of Tombstone.
That's a growing territory, ma'am. If you care to, you're welcome to throw in with us.
I'd sure appreciate that.
Fine. I'll send a couple of hands to round up your herd.
You said your name was Slaughter?
That's right.
We're following a trail named for a man called Slaughter. Any relation to you?
Sort of.
Here's your gun, ma'am.
Be careful of that gun. It's cocked. Get some stamina into those Mustangs, you got yourself a real horse.
Yes.
What'd you think of mixing an Arab strain?
Yes.
Of course, we could cross a Mustang with a camel.
Yes.
Or an elephant.
Yes.
I wonder how Miss Howell would look on an elephant.
What'd you say?
I said for 3 days, all you've done is stare at that girl. Now, why don't you go over and talk to her?
Think it'd be all right?
Well, being as how we're out here in the middle of nowhere, if it's a mistake, who's to know?
Nice night.
Very nice.
Mr. Slaughter says all the nights in Arizona are nice.
Mr. Slaughter seems to know an awful lot.
He sure does. Well, evening, ma'am.
It's late, Viola.
Only a little after 8 or so.
Closer to 9.
Back in Kentucky, ma'am, we would be just about sitting down to dinner.
Are you from Kentucky?
Yes, ma'am. My father's place is just a small way out of Louisville.
Do you happen to know the Beauchamps?
They're my cousins.
Are you any relative of Jacob Carstairs?
My uncle, my father's John Carstairs. Maybe you've heard of him.
Well, I should say I have. I mean, if you're anybody in Kentucky, you're nobody unless you know John Carstairs.
Well, maybe he's kind of well known, ma'am, but...
Well, you two must have a lot to talk about. A whole lot. Viola spent some time in Kentucky, haven't you, dear?
Yes, Mother.
Well, it's getting late. Not for you young folks, no, but I'm a little tired, so if you'll excuse me.
You know, I've been married to that woman 26 years and still don't understand her.
I met a man once said he understood his wife. Only thing he couldn't understand is why she run off on him.
Well, you take my Rachel. All she ever talks about is getting a good match for Viola. Never in a million years did I think she'd let her sit out alone with a cowhand.
Got a lot of charm, that boy.
You sure got something.
How long's it been since you've been in Arizona, Mr. Howell?
I never been here before.
Oh? Why, I thought you said that you bought a spread.
I got him a government land agent back in Ohio. At a good price, too. House and barn, 2,000 acres, practically nothing.
The government wants people to settle that territory. They've been more than fair.
Are you thinking of settling down, Mr. Slaughter?
Oh, I picked out the strip of land I wanted 2 years ago. I would have been on it by now. Except things didn't work out.
Oh, well, you're a young man yet. You got plenty of chances.
Yeah.
David,
I just don't understand her.
time to go to bed. You're tired.
Like, how did she know that, huh? Good night, Mr. Slaughter.
Good night, Mr. Howell.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Ashley.
She talked to me.
Amazing.
She even knows some of the same people.
Astounding.
And intelligent. You wouldn't think a girl that pretty would be that smart, now would you?
Why, no, you wouldn't. Go to sleep.
John?
Mm.
No, I'm just asking, understand?
Mm.
How old do you think a man should be when he gets married?
A man should be old enough so he doesn't have to ask how old he has to be. Drive the herd over to your spread.
We sure appreciate what you've done.
Can't thank you enough, Mr. Slaughter.
Oh, I enjoyed your company.
As long as you're in Arizona, Mr. Carstairs, we want you to consider our home your home.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Sure enjoyed talking to you, Miss Viola.
Come and see us, Ashley, as soon as you get settled.
Always a chair at our table for you.
As soon as I can.
Good luck in your new home.
Thank you.
Oh, you can visit us too, Mr. Slaughter. We'll be expecting both of you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll get over as soon as we can. Come on, let's catch up that herd.
Yeah, get up!
Mr. Carstairs, you sure got it.
Got what?
Away with the women.
Think Viola really likes me?
I don't know about Viola, but her mother will marry you tomorrow. Town's changed in 2 years.
Didn't think it would look like this. Bet there's plenty of life here.
Be a lot more before she dies. Afternoon.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
My name's Slaughter. This is Mr. Carstairs. I'm in the market for some land.
Well, Mr. Slaughter, if there's one thing we got a lot of in the Arizona territory, it's land.
I know the strip I want.
There's been rumors of silver up near here. Now, an army post down near here, practically no Indians.
10,000 acres, roughly between here and here.
That's good land, very good land.
I don't see the name of Howell on that map, sir.
Howell?
David Howell from Mahal.
Oh, it says here they bought the Cleveland place. Right here. Haven't had a chance to change the map. Fine land south of there. Yes, sir, that'd be my suggestion.
Has the strip of land I want been sold?
Well, no.
Well, then I'll buy it.
Well, it takes time, Mr. Slaughter. Got to get the papers ready. A lot of paperwork when the government gets in the picture. Take a couple hours at least.
Well, I got to pay off some hands at the El Dorado Saloon. I'll be back.
Mr. Slaughter, maybe I ought to warn you, you buying awful close to Geronimo territory.
Well, if I bump into Geronimo, I'll tell him that you said there's room for everybody.
Enjoyed working for you, Mr. Slaughter.
Jim, you tell Mr. Scanlon that I said that you and the rest of the boys did a real fine job.
I'll do that. You got a message for him, Ashley?
Just that I'm stretching a little every day.
I'll tell him.
John Slaughter?
That's right.
I'm Mike Clinton.
Well, I've heard about you.
Heard about you, too. I also heard you're trying to buy a piece of land up near me.
Have I heard of him?
Oh, he works for me. He's my right hand.
Uh-huh. I expect he'd be anybody's right hand. They paid him enough. That right, Gunslick? I see you carry one, too. Your reputation says you don't need one. Don't you try me. This a neighborly visit?
Well, that might be the word for it. Yeah, that's a real good word for it.
And I suppose you got some real neighborly advice for me.
Well, maybe we could get along.
Maybe.
Now, this piece of land that you're thinking about,
I'm buying that land.
this land you're considering, I've been using that land for 6 years. Fine grazing, lots of good water.
Why didn't you buy it?
And why should I spend money for something that I can get for nothing?
In 10 minutes, Mr. Clanton, that won't be open range.
All right, Mr. Slaughter. You buy that land. But you make sure that it's open to my cattle.
Well, that sounds like an order.
It is.
Goodbye, neighbor.
Let him talk pretty strong, John.
Wanted to hear what he had to say.
Talks like he owns the territory.
Ashley, that man was one of the first to grab onto a handful of Arizona dirt and hold on to it.
Seems like he wants to hold on to more than what's his.
Well, when he tries, that'll be my turn to do some talking. That man said 2 hours. Let's not keep him waiting.
That fellow with Clanton, he thought I was a gunfighter.
Don't you make the same mistake. Pure artesian spring water. 4 of them on the 10,000 acres. No matter how dry it gets, I still got water.
Not much of anything else.
There will be. Come on, boy, this is where we bed down. You pick yourself a nice soft spot. We'll build a house around it.
Got it all planned, haven't you, John?
Oh, most of it.
How about it? You gonna beat Arizona what John Chisholm is to New Mexico?
Nope. The Cutter may see bigger men, but they'll never see another John Chisholm.
What do you really want to be, John?
Oh, first of all, I want to be Ike Clanton's neighbor.
And if you can do that, then what?
Well, if I can do that, then I want to be the same thing that everybody else wants to be. An old man.
We having beans again?
We haven't had beans since last night's supper.
One meal. It's all I want out of life. Just one good meal.
What I admire most in life is a boy with ambition.
Hot biscuits, fresh vegetables, brown gravy.
Now, who do you suppose would provide 2 tired cowhands with a meal like that?
Nobody, I guess.
Nobody?
The Howells. We know the Howells.
For 3 days. For 3 long and hungry days, I've been waiting for you to suggest that. Thank you, Miss Viola.
Viola, you finish this while I clean up the kitchen.
I'm almost done, Mother.
No, some things I have to do, dear.
When's the rainy season, John?
Just a guess, I'd say another 6, 7 months.
Oh.
Don't worry, you'll get plenty of it.
I don't think I can hold on that long.
Why not?
You know, when I got this place, I told you it was a bargain. I thought it was more than that, even. Plenty of grazing land, a house in good shape, close to Tombstone and the church.
I saw your barn on the way in. Needs a bit of repair, but it should wear well.
Yeah. John, this place has everything. Except water.
You sure?
Yeah.
You checked for hidden wells?
I checked. Had a long talk with the land agent. He told me 3 different men owned this place before I got it, and I broke them all.
But that creek that runs through your place is full.
And getting lower every day. It'll dry up and stay dry till the rains.
Oh, it's terribly warm in here, Viola. Why don't you take Ashley out for some air?
You're sure you don't need any help?
Oh, I can do it faster alone.
Want some air?
If you do.
When my wife finds out about the water, she's going to be a mighty disappointed woman.
Don't you tell her.
Well, it's going to be hard to keep it from her when she sees the cattle dropping of thirst.
There's 4 artesian wells on my property. Seems like one of them could serve as shore cattle.
John, I don't think I could afford it. I'm working real close.
Well, of course, my price would be kind of steep. I figured it'd come to, 1 home-cooked meal a week.
You mean that?
Mm-hmm. If Mrs. Howell agrees.
Well, let's ask her. Rachel, John and I just reached a business agreement.
About the fact that the creek will be dry in 2 months?
I don't understand this woman. I just don't understand her.
Mind if I sit down? Sure is a nice night, isn't it, Miss Viola?
Ashley, when we're alone, all you do is talk about the weather.
I do?
You do. Now, be honest. You must do something with your life besides check up on the weather.
Mr. Slaughter manages to keep my time pretty well filled.
Doing what?
Building a ranch. He's a man with plans. He's a man who knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it.
How about you?
I help him. We're fencing off the land, ordering stock, and building a house, clearing off a corral area, planting a barn, planting acreage. The way John goes at it is...
Ashley, isn't there anything you can talk about without using his name?
You don't like him, do you?
I don't like him. I don't dislike him. He's just John Slaughter.
Man, that is being a lot.
You know what I don't like about him? He's too sure. Does everything right, never makes a mistake, and always gets what he wants.
Can't see that that's so bad in a man.
Well, I sure feel sorry for the woman who marries a man who's always right.
Boy, you thinking about getting married, Miss Viola?
Every girl does.
To what kind of a man?
kind I fall in love with.
What do you think he should look like?
That's not important.
I suppose he'd have to be somebody, though, huh?
That's not important either.
What is?
Two things, strength and softness.
Well, there's lots of men. I'd be kind of hard just by looking at him to tell if they got those things.
When I see him, I'll know him.
You will?
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, we got a long ride ahead of us. Full day's work tomorrow.
Next week, I mean, if it's not too soon, may I see you again?
We're always happy to see you.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Thanks again, John. You know, every time we part, I seem to be thanking you for something.
Don't thank me, David. If I need something, I know where to come.
Remember that.
Right. Miss Viola?
Good night.
You don't do everything right.
Huh?
You sure don't walk out of doors at the right time. John?
Mm-hmm.
John?
Go to sleep, Ashley.
I'm not tired.
Oh, I am.
John, you were married. You ought to be able to help me.
Will you go to sleep?
How did you propose to your wife?
How did I what?
Propose to your wife.
I said, Addie, will you marry me? She said, John, yes, I will. And now, Ashley, will you go to sleep?
You mean you just came out and said it?
I don't know that I just came right out and said it.
I've got to know exactly.
Well, as I recollect, we were sitting on her front porch.
Oh, there's a front porch.
And her pa was in the house, and...
You keep him in there.
Are you going to tell me how you're going to do this, or are you going to listen to how I did it?
Sorry.
Well, we were talking. And I said that I believed that the future was in white-faced cattle.
Why?
And I was telling her all about the ranch I bought in Texas. How I was going to send my beef to Abilene.
It sure is romantic.
And then we just sat there for a while and didn't say anything. And I was fixing to tell her about this bull that I was going to buy. And she turned to me and she said, John, do you want a big wedding or a small wedding? What's so funny?
My horse could propose better than you.
Well, I got married, didn't I?
Now I'm in Arizona, gonna lead a better life. Gonna look around, gonna settle down and find me a gal to be my wife. For I'm a tired cowhand, tired of living neath the sky of drifting and never knowing why. For I'm a tired cowhand, always saying I won't roam and knowing that I'm never going home.
Who? Clint.
I waited here, Slaughter, so there wouldn't be any mistake as to who did it.
You mind handing me those? Why, Clanton?
That wire was keeping my cattle from water.
Mister, you want a neighbor's water, you asked for it.
I give orders, remember? And when you were nice and safe back in Texas, I was out here taming this land. Now that it's nice and comfortable, neither you nor anybody else can fence it off or me away from it.
All you had to do was ask. Every time you put it up, I'm gonna cut it down. You keep him out of my way, you hear? You're not wearing iron. Got him in the wagon? This fight's between us. Those men are wearing guns. Want to borrow a pair?
Man asked you a question, Slaughter.
You made your point, Clanton.
Mm-hmm. Robbie, it looks like you made yours, too. Mr. Slaughter's a very busy man. Let's not detain him.
We're gonna put it back up again, aren't we, John?
Nope.
Why not?
Well, they just pull it down again. I remember when I was younger, a man tried to build a dam on a river to keep me from water. I blew it up.
But he's pushing you around.
Well, out here, you don't keep a man from water. Don't you ever forget that. You're allowed just about everything else, but you don't steal a man's horse and you don't keep him from water.
Yeah.
Go back home.
You act like you were that gunfighter.
You mean scared of him?
Uh-huh.
A man who isn't scared of another man's gun's a fool.
Does he have a reputation? Is he somebody?
Anybody with a gun is somebody.
But you're good, John. Everybody says you're one of the best.
You want me to kill him?
Yes.
I'm trying to build a ranch, not a graveyard.
He didn't look like too much to me. 2, 3 years older than me.
Ashley, I'm going to tell you something about that kind of business. A man who enjoys killing, you can knock him over. A man who hates killing, you still got the edge on him. But a man who doesn't even think about killing, he's already half dead. It's almost impossible to kill him.
I think it's possible.
I'd stake my life on it. Since he was 10 years old, that boy Robbie's been practicing at the gun 4 or 5 hours a day. Never missed a day.
They told me nobody could make John Slaughter back down.
Well, I was in the wrong.
So was he, because he cut the wire. Didn't even ask, just sliced it up.
If I hadn't have put up that fence, he wouldn't have pulled it down. But you keep practicing, Ashley. 3 years, 8 hours a day. Maybe you'll be a quick draw.
And when I do?
And when you do, the man you come up against, you make sure that he's hurt you bad enough for him to die, or you to get buried. Cattle auction's at 2. Let's say we meet back here about 4:30.
Sure you don't want me to go along with you?
I've been buying cows since I was 10. I reckon I can handle it.
Just asking, that's all.
What you want to do, you got to do it by yourself.
I could do it after the auction. I mean, you could sort of keep her folks out of the way.
Oh, I'll bet you can handle it all right.
I wish I was that sure.
Good luck.
Afternoon, Miss Viola.
Sure is a fine day, isn't it, Ashley?
Sure is. Mind if I sit down?
Glad to have the company.
Your, parents in the house?
Pa's down by the barn. Mother's inside. You want to see them?
No. I mean, not just right now.
Did you come to see me?
Sure is a nice day.
Sure is.
Miss Viola, I've been giving a lot of thought lately to white-faced cattle.
You have?
I have. And I've also been thinking about buying a ranch and some bulls.
That's nice.
And some horses, too.
Ashley, you trying to ask me to marry you?
Never thought I'd get up the nerve to ask you.
Oh, Ashley, I'm very flattered, but believe me, I like you. But
Miss Viola, when you love a man or when you hate him, you feel something, but when you just like him,
I'm sorry.
Somebody else?
No.
I don't know what to say now.
We can still be friends, can't we?
Friend, I sure would have liked to have married you.
You don't have to tell me, because I know.
I don't want to talk about it, Mother.
He asked you to marry him, and you said no.
I don't love him.
You just turned down a chance to marry a Kentucky gentleman from an excellent family.
I know.
Viola, just what do you want?
I don't know, Mother.
Slaughter.
Why?
That's not an answer.
Don't leave. He'll be here soon. That answer suits you?
He leave you here to guard this mansion of his?
What if he did?
Then he made a mistake. He never should have left you alone.
I can take care of myself.
He says he can take care of himself. How good? So far, not so good.
You've got 5 guns on me. Is that what you need to be good?
Why don't you start with him? Give the boy a chance, Danny. Let him go. You know something? For a while there, he was pretty good. Let's go, man. Ashley. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Ashley? Just lay there.
I'll kill him.
Who?
See him, I'll kill him.
Who are you gonna kill?
That gunfighter, Clanton's, Robbie. He and 4 others, they worked me over.
They do that to the house, too?
I guess so, I don't know. I was out.
You all right now?
I'm all right.
You just lay on your back. After a while, you sit up, but don't you try to stand.
I'm coming with you.
It was my house, it's my fight.
They started on me first. I got the right to fight back first.
Boy, you got the right, but you ain't got the strength.
I said I'd kill him, and I meant it.
You tried, boy.
A couple of minutes. Give me a couple of minutes.
It's going to take you more than a couple of minutes.
I got the right, John. I got the right.
I'll save you a piece of him. Where's Clanton?
Inside.
Tell him to come outside.
Do we need him?
Clanton!
I see you brought my rope back.
Clanton!
I lose, Mr. Clanton. I said you didn't have enough guts to come here.
You're a little nervous, aren't you, boy? He says this rope is his.
Well, this boy's got an eye for things that belong to him.
My fence was keeping you from water. I understood that. Now, you explain about my house.
Well, you was building it too solid.
On land I own.
I don't want you for a neighbor.
Well, mister, you better get used to having me for a neighbor. You better get used to having a lot of neighbors. This territory is wide open. You can't keep everybody out.
Oh, I'm not worried about everybody, like those new howls. They don't bother me none.
But I do.
Mm-hmm. Because you're going to try to be as big as I am. And I don't want that.
Mr. Clanton, I didn't want any trouble with you. But let's get this settled right here now.
Oh, he does all my settling for me.
Oh, he does. And are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied.
What do you get out of this?
With John Slaughter at my gun belt, nobody will have to give me anything. I'll take.
This hand's over.
Don't you deal another hand.
As long as you keep trying to settle near me, we're gonna keep on tangling.
You keep this between us, Clanton. I didn't want to shoot that boy.
He picked his way to die.
You send any more boys after me, I'll ride right over them and gun you. I'll ride with you to the Howells.
I won't change my mind, John.
Why don't you give it a little more thought?
You think I'm quitting, don't you?
No, I don't think you're quitting. Why don't you give it another try?
She turned me down.
Oh, lots of fellas get turned down by a gal first time around.
It's the last time when they want to be your friend.
Boy, I sure was counting on you. Cattle to buy, hands to hire, ranch to get organized.
John, I'm going back to Kentucky. I've got a debt to pay.
Debt?
You taught me that. Boy, a man owes, he's got to pay back.
Do I sound like that?
You did me a favor. Helped me round up some Mustangs. I said I'd get you 2 Kentucky thoroughbreds.
Oh, a year or 6 months would be fine for them.
Take me that long just to get them and bring them back.
You coming back?
Sure, I'm coming back.
Boy, when you torture a man, you sure do it slow.
They ought to give her a chance to fix up.
You can't do anything but look beautiful, right, John?
Right. You folks to home, Miss Viola?
Tombstone.
That's too bad. I came to say goodbye.
Goodbye?
I'm going back to Kentucky.
You two want to say your goodbyes alone. I'll go and get some water.
No, there's no need of that, John. Me and Viola are friends.
Is that why you're leaving?
I guess that's part of it. Mainly, I have to bring some horses back for John.
I'll miss you.
If you miss me enough, we just might stop being friends.
Kentucky must be famous for something besides horses. You ought to do a little shopping for yourself.
I just might do that. Friend, take care of my friend while I'm gone.
You take care of yourself.
Goodbye, John.
Bye. Whatever gave him the idea I needed looking after?
Because he doesn't realize that you're the one man alive who can handle everything by himself.
No call to talk like that, Miss Viola.
Mr. Slaughter, would you please stop calling me Miss Viola? Make it sound like I was a 5-year-old child.
You call me Mr. Slaughter?
Because you act like Mr. Slaughter.
Oh?
You're overbearing, dictatorial, egotistical, and always right. And that's what I dislike about you the most.
And I'm bullheaded, and I'm stubborn, and I'm blind.
In my whole life, I have never met a man who infuriated me as quickly.
Have I been blind?
In my whole life, I've never met a man who irritated me so.
When are your family coming back?
An hour, 2 hours, I don't know.
I think I'll wait.
Wait if you want to. I've got work to do.
So have I.
In Texas, a ranger he had to become, and outlaws he defied. For Texas, John Slaughter made 'em do what they oughter, 'cause if they didn't, they died. His turned-up white Stetson and pearl-handled gun were known